Welcome to World Buzz Bulletin. As the geopolitical landscape shifts in early 2026, the question of who continues to do business with Iran and at what cost has taken center stage, despite a web of international restrictions and the internal unrest currently shaking the country. Several major global economies remain deeply integrated with the Iranian market. However, the looming threat of aggressive new U.S. tariffs and secondary sanctions under the America First doctrine is forcing these nations into a precarious balancing act between their energy needs and their access to the American financial system. The primary players in Iran's economic orbit remain concentrated in Asia and the neighborhood. China stands as Iran's largest trading partner by a significant margin, serving as the primary buyer of discounted Iranian crude oil and a major supplier of machinery and consumer goods. India too maintains a strategic interest, particularly through the development of the Chabahar port, which serves as a vital gateway to Central Asia. Meanwhile, the UAE serves as a critical transshipment hub, and Russia has deepened its pariah state alliance with Tehran, expanding trade in military hardware and energy infrastructure. The introduction of universal U.S. tariffs and intensified secondary sanctions could have several far-reaching consequences. The choose us or them ultimatum. Washington is increasingly using the threat of 10% to 20% to 20% universal tariffs and even higher targeted levies to pressure third-party countries to cease their imports of Iranian oil. This forces nations like India to decide if the energy savings are worth the risk of being penalized in the U.S. consumer market. Banking and the dollar. New US measures are targeting the financial workarounds used by smaller banks in the UAE and Turkey. If these institutions are cut off from the SWIFT system or hit with U.S. tariffs on their exports, the flow of currency into Iran could evaporate, further devaluing the rise of shadow trade. To avoid U.S. scrutiny, analysts expect an increase in dark fleet oil transfers and barter-based trade systems, where goods like grain or medicine are swapped directly for oil, bypassing the traditional financial system entirely. For the European Union, the choice is even more complex. While Brussels remains committed to the principle of sovereign trade, the reality of a massive U.S. tariff wall on European automobiles or luxury goods makes defending business as usual, with Tehran a difficult political sell. As Washington tightens the screws, the world is witnessing the emergence of a bifurcated global economy, one side adhering to the US-led sanctions regime to avoid punitive tariffs, and another led by China and Russia building a parallel sanctions-proof trade network. Thank you for watching World Buzz Bulletin.